sharing your perspective and analysis with us. With that, viewers, we're shifting focus to what's taking place in Tel Aviv. We're now learning that dozens have gathered under the banner of Enough of War, demanding the return of the remaining slain hostages still held by Hamas. Meanwhile, families and activists have held photos of their loved ones taken during the 7th October attacks in 2023. They've called for closure and peace. This rally comes after Hamas has returned 20 surviving hostages that were still in his custody when the fragile ceasefire deal was inked, and it's commenced handing over the remains of those killed. Demonstrators have urged Israeli leaders to prioritize the return of every single body and to end what they call an endless cycle of blood. Police has maintained a strong presence as emotions ran high in the heart of Tel Aviv. In fact, listen in to what some of the protesters have had to say.
אז באתי לכאן היום שאף אחד לא ישכח את עוז, שאף אחד לא ישכח את החללים. המלחמה עדיין אומנם ברגיעה, אבל עד שלא נחזיר את כולם, אין כאן סגירה ואין מנוחה. אנחנו פה מאז שהיו כמות מאוד גדולה של חטופים. עכשיו נשארנו עם מעט, וחשוב להמשיך לתמוך במשפחות, וחשוב להעביר לממשלה שצריך להחזיר את כולם, עד האחרון שבהם.
כרגע נשארו 11 חללים שהמשפחות שלהם פה באי-ודאות ולא יכולות לחזור למעגל החיים שלהם ולחיים הרגילים שלהם. חשוב שהם יקבלו קבורה ראויה והמשפחות יזכו להתחלה לא שלמה אמנם, אבל חדשה, שיוכלו לחזור לחיים ולשקם את עצמם עד כמה שאפשר.
With us on the broadcast is Mr. Yossi Kuperwasser, Israeli intelligence and security expert, joining us from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much for taking out time and speaking to us on NewsX World. Of course, some rather heart-wrenching scenes coming in from the heart of Tel Aviv. We've seen the families of hostages come out as well, calling for an end to what they call is an endless cycle of bloodshed. There is a lot of trauma around the October 7th terrorist attack, the 2 years of war that's taken place as well. But apart from this trauma shaping the government's policies, I want to understand from you what are the priorities of the Israeli people on the ground right now?
Well, good morning. First of all, I think the highest priority is really to bring back the bodies of the 11 remaining hostages that are still in Gaza. And this is still a part of the first phase of the plan that President Trump has put forward. We want to see it implemented. Once this is over, then the other issue is to make sure that Hamas is disarmed. That's the second phase of the plan. And until now, Hamas refuses to follow this part of the plan. So this is going to be the next challenge. And we shall have to, for that purpose, to see that the International Stabilization Force is being built. And there is a group of Palestinian technocrats that can take over from Hamas. Mm-hmm. This has not been done yet. So we are all waiting to see all of that happening. And making sure that Gaza would not serve as a jumping board for further terror attacks in the future. Mm. All of that has to happen once the hostages are brought back.
Indeed, and speaking of the hostages itself, we've recently learned that the remains of 3 people that Hamas handed over to the Red Cross earlier do not belong to any of the hostages. So realistically speaking, what's needed to end this endless cycle of bloodshed as the protesters are pointing out?
Looking at that, this endless cycle of bloodshed is really strange. This is a bloodshed originated by Hamas. They took the initiative on October 7th and massacred 1,200 Israelis, and that's what led to Israeli response. It's not a cycle of bloodshed. If Hamas disarms, then there's not going to be any further violence in Gaza. What we need to see now is that Hamas would accept this. And unfortunately, we are still hearing Hamas speaking about staying in power, and that's the problem that prevents us from moving forward right now.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, I request you to stay on with us as we're tracking some other rather crucial updates at this time near Israel's northern border with Lebanon. We're now learning that in southern Lebanon,